That's what streaming is, right? Oh. All right. I just made some tea, so I'm a little late. Uh, and that's it. All right. So, we had stories yesterday that we didn't get into because I was essentially raging. Um, but I feel better. I think I was right, but I feel better. I think the things that bother me are things that I really, that excuse me about the hole in my shirt. Things that, this is just filth from dinner. Things that I think could have been fixed or should be fixed, haven't been fixed, I guess rage against it. Some people don't care at all, right? I do have a $700 million yacht for one guy. Yeah, pay more taxes. I don't understand why the place doesn't work, but that's okay, right? I'm just another fish. We're gonna wait to we get a hopefully we get a people or two in the chat. I hope we have viewers. In the old days, we used to know, but now it's just not awesome. Yesterday was cold. It was like 52. Today it was 78. It's just all over the place. Now that the sun is dropping and it's getting a little chillier, I throw on a fleece. Not a fleece, but like a. I really do respect these plaid shirts all of a sudden. All right, so what was your day like? I spent the day feeling bad. It's a thing, right? It happens. I was watching this thing today. It was talking about being good at something. It was like you start something because you like it, not because you want to be good at it. And they were like, "How long does it take to be good at it?" So it was like, 20 hours of something might take one person, you know, 3 days, 4 days, right, to get 20 hours. Five, like a week to get 20 hours because he's really invested in it. He's doing like 3 or 4 hours a day. It may take another person, you know, 9 months to get 20 hours because he's only like doing it like 5 minutes a day, here and there, right? It's that kind of thing. Uh, and I was like, why do I do this, right? 20 hours. I mean, I know why I do it for guitar. It's enjoyable and I like it. Why do I rage about the politics of it? And I was thinking maybe it's enjoyable. Maybe I like it. I don't know. I'm in a funk, guys. I am in a funk. But that is what tea is for. I think I'm also gonna have to give up coffee because again, same problem as last time. Flimmy. All of a sudden, I'm just flimmy through my whole shit's bang, like hacking and blowing my nose a lot. That's just phlegm from too much coffee because I drink a lot of coffee, and I can't drink it black. So now I'm off coffee. Well, I'm gonna finish this pot. Then I'm off coffee. Oh my gosh. All right, so what are we talking about this week, other than me being off coffee? You know, Zelensky talks a lot of wild stuff to the UN to get us to help him, right? I mean, should he be nicer? I think he should be nicer. He needs us more than we need him. Excuse me. And the Russians are just straight killing people, killing people in the Ukraine, just dumping them into. It's crazy. Let me just say this. Black Lives Matter. Why secretly? What did Black Lives Matter secretly bought a $6 million house? Okay, why do you care? They're corrupt churches. You're not reporting on them. This is just to be like, hey, look what the blacks are doing. That's why you need to know. Um, my eyes. A $6 million house. I would like to know why, but again, I'm not part of their organization. It is their organization. They can do whatever they want with it as long as I guess they meet all federal standards, right? Obama showed up for a Biden event. Hey, William. Good to see you in the chat. Oh, thank you for showing a little love there. I appreciate you. Um, Black Lives Matter bought a $6 million house. Yeah, again, it's their money. I'm not part of their organization. I can't really say what they do with it. Like I just said, as long as it fits and no laws are being broken, I don't get it. Uh, with Obama's help, Biden announces proposed fix for the ACA's family glitch. Propose. See, this is the thing. Propose is not legislation. There's a lot of that, right? There's a lot of writing articles as if them saying it and you writing the article means the thing is destined to happen. So you get a lot of you get a lot of this help Biden announcers propose fix it, right? So you're gonna propose it, they're gonna vote it down, so there won't be any fix. But you announce this with the former president as if this was a done thing. President Joe Biden on Tuesday proposed a way to increase the number of dependents who can subsidize insurance under the Affordable Care Act, a fix to what has been called the family glitch. The proposal, if a workplace plan for a whole family costs more than 10% of a family's income, then the worker's spouse and children could get help purchasing a private plan through the Obamacare marketplace. Just drive you independent to spend more money. They're not fixing anything. They're creating another fucking debt market. They all suck so hard. I mean, I mean that's not a fix. Who told you that was a fix? All right, we're not even gonna finish reading it. On a hypersonic weapons deal, China warns against fueling a crisis. Wait, who's got a hypersonic weapons deal? All right, let's read the Chinese thing because some of these headlines are just ridiculous. Uh, and we don't even want to read the whole thing. We just want to know who are they talking about. We know Russia has hypersonic weapons, right? We don't. We know North Korea wants hypersonic weapons. What jobs did I have? I did a whole host of things, man. Uh, they will likely spill out because I don't mind speaking about my life, but when I'm asked a direct query like that, I get all wiggy. Um, but they weren't anything important. They weren't great jobs, just to keep the lights on. Couldn't even afford to pay for college, right? All right. Ambassador Zhang Jun warned of Tuesday against measures that could fuel a crisis like the Ukraine conflict in other parts of the world. When asked about the deal between Britain, the United States, and Australia to cooperate on hypersonic weapons and electronic warfare. Yeah, okay. Here's the thing about China. Uh, China's sphere of influence includes Australia. Australia only has about, I want to say, 25 million people in it. It's big as fuck, but it's also empty as fuck. Um, and China pushes them around, but now that I mean, they do business with China because they're right in the same area, and a lot of Chinese people go on vacation in Australia, so they have a big tourist thing. But when China starts throwing its weight around in that part of the region, Micronesia and these little areas over there that aren't as big as Australia, right? Australia's NATO, so Australia sort of backs them up to keep China at bay, and we sort of back Australia up to keep China at bay, right? Australia is important because it's strategic. It's placed right at the doorstep of China, right? Right. Uh, I don't want to say behind, um, but yeah, close. I mean, yeah, that whole region. So they're over there talking about, hey, we have concerns. Yeah, we have concerns about your behavior to China. Um, but like I said, China does a lot of building crap for America. So if that ends, their economy takes a hit. But what kind of economy do they have? Because at one point they were dirt poor, and then it took them like 30 years to do business in the West and adopt capitalism and get super duper rich. Now, how rich are they exactly? Right? If we put economic sanctions on China and stop dealing with them, would that be enough of a deterrent? Would their economy collapse like Russia is doing, or not? Like if you stop, you know, doing business with them and stop giving them cash, would they just be like, man, so what? We built up already. We're unstoppable now. Ooh, it's 7 o'clock. I am really just tired. I'm mentally exhausted. I am mentally exhausted. Uh, oh, really? I'm really beginning to think that I should have taken that day off, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Huh. So, we're not even going to finish reading this. It's essentially China warning the West, right? Posturing again. But China backs up North Korea. North Korea is just a mess of a place. And China, there was democracy in Hong Kong, and then we handed over to China, and then China just crushed democracy in Hong Kong. So China uh, kills off and re-educates and locks up a portion of their community that is Muslim Chinese people, and wiped out religion in Tibet, claiming that Tibet is theirs and they own it. So you gotta watch it, man. These greedy little And the only reason they can do this is because they have Western weapons, right? They didn't. The last great thing, well, not the last great thing they invented, but was gunpowder, and then they used it for fireworks. Um, and China used it, not China, and I want to say the West used it for guns, right? So yeah, it is what it is, man. South Asian folk jazz that won a Grammy. South Asian folk jazz. Okay, all right. I've never heard of that, and I'm pretty sure it's awesome, so I don't need to hear it. How's that for not being judgmental? U.S. to send drones with anti-armor warheads to the Ukraine. I saw this video yesterday of a tank going by, a Ukrainian, not Ukrainian, a Russian fuel truck, another tank, and there was a car behind that, and they blew the ever loving frick out of that fuel truck. And I thought whoever has to drive the fuel truck must have been like, God damn it, and yeah, because no, you're probably not in there by yourself. You're in there probably with a partner for company or whatever. But yeah, dog barking. Uh, there's people out there. Let's see if we can. I don't know if we can. We should. All right. Um, do I want to even show you this? It was so. We don't need to show it to you. But man, it reminded me of that helicopter footage where there's just flying low and slow and right in the face missile completely does you in. Right? I'm sure that day they were just kind of like, what are we doing here? Oh, let's go out on patrol. Right? And I'm sure those guys in that fuel truck was like, oh, we're in a fuel truck and they're blowing up fuel trucks. Ah. And everyone's like, don't worry about it. I mean, we were saying this when this whole thing started. No air support. You're out there fully open. All of you are targets of opportunity. And then you saw what they did to like just these random people, right? Blowing up their car with a tank, that elderly couple. Right? Now you've got all these dead bodies with their hands tied behind their back and a bullet to the head, like they're the mafia. And who did they killed one mayor who was a lady. They killed her and her family. What should happen is all those former Eastern Bloc countries, like Yugoslavia and Chechnya and who's the other one? Poland, right? They're all part of NATO. They should all just roll up and protect, right? But they don't have to because, like I said, they're part of NATO. And if they did go, man, this is messed up. This could either be us. And they went in with armies to help the Ukraine and got into a fighting war with Russia. That means NATO's in a fighting war with Russia, which means the Britons have to join in, the Americans have to join in, the Australians have to join in, which then means China has to join in on the Russian side. And yeah, let's uh let's try to avoid that. Uh, I don't know what to tell you. That's the lay of the land. Um, we shouldn't have made our enemies strong. Yeah. All right. I don't really see a lot of. Opinion. Marutella Green's ugly accusation points to a dangerous trend of GOP. It's opinion, right? And once you ask whose opinion is it, it's always some paid uh, speaker for any number of like news outlets trying to sell your book or get an anchor seat. So, police nabbed Fox on Capitol Hill after attack on Democratic congressman and other encounters. So, a Fox attacked the congressman in Washington, D.C., and they caught it. PCU, just say no to protest. We're not gonna protest. What? They have a protest with signs saying just say no to protest. We're not gonna protest. And Maxine Waters is there. The oral history of PCU, the culture war's cult. The '90s com. Oh, it's a comedy. Oh no, it's not Maxine Waters. It's an actress. The light is so weird. It looks like Maxine Waters. The cultural, uh, the '90s comedy skewered campus politics, featuring John Favreau and Jed Rocks and George Clinton to cover Prince. Obviously, we had questions. In the early 1900s, yeah, all right, I know this movie. I thought that, I was like, okay. Burger King is sued because people say that their burger is too small. It's not, but somebody should sue McDonald's because their fries are always tiny. I mean, if we're just running around suing. Of course, Elon Musk wanted Twitter. 10% is not wanting Twitter. The problem here with the social media, as I see it, right, um, is it feels like they're making an in run around the Constitution of whatever society they're in. So here in America, they're sort of doing an in run around your freedom of speech. They're banning you and taking you off the platforms. But in other places where people want freedom of speech, they're happily going along with the government and censoring people. Um, like Google, excuse me, like Google famously did 10 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Hackers flood the internet with what they say are Russian companies' files. I still don't understand this. I don't understand why governments are sanctioning billionaires from Russia like they made the policy to I don't understand it. I mean, I don't see why other people can't sanction American celebrities or whatever. But I don't understand it. We're not finding soldiers, just innocent people. There's a lot of dead civilians. One guy they shot right off his bike. I mean, he was lying in the street dead when they found him, right? But his feet were still on the pedals. The bike was still between his legs. It's not like he had one foot on the ground and they shot him. You know, it looked like he was riding and they shot him and he fell over and his feet were still on the pedals. I was like, what in the fucking world? And it also looked like there were people on, and they shot a lot of them at the same time. Because it's not like one person saw somebody lying in the street and walked by, like, oh, well, it's just a Tuesday and we're going about their business. It looked like a bunch of people were out on the street and they killed them. And then in other places, people had hands tied behind their back and shot in the head. The mayor was one of those. Women were being raped and murdered. So, yeah, this whole thing is just. What's the word I'm looking for? It's standard darkness for war. Man, I don't know. I think I'm getting a little too. It's just. It's. It's hard to take. It's hard to take. Oh my God, these things go fast. All right. Um. Yeah, I was a weirdo hippie, man. I did artsy stuff. I worked for HBO. Tried to be a creative person. There's no money in that. That what am I saying? There's a ton of money in that. There was no money in that for me, which I think implies I had no talent for it. I'm not a good liar. I say what I say. January 6th trial of former police officer gets underway. He's going to jail. Let's read about him. Can we read about him? Yep. J- they just sent one guy to jail for January 6th, right? But for like 4.5 years. I was like, yee. 4.5 years. Oops, sorry about that. That is a lot of time to just sit and think about what you did if you're just a random protester and not used to being a criminal or anything like that. Third January 6th related trial began in earnest Tuesday in Washington, D.C., with the opening statements in the case of Thomas Robertson, an ex police officer in Virginia who faced 6 charges for his alleged actions during the attack, including violent entry in the U.S. Capitol, obstruction of an official proceeding, and tampering with evidence. The tampering with evidence comes after they all deleted those pictures from the internet. That's tampering with evidence. You, you knew it was evidence. Excuse me. You knew it was evidence when you erased it. What is that smell? Okay. All right. This is the price you pay when you when you burn incense. All right. So yeah, the like you can't destroy evidence, right? I mean, it's not destruction. It's not like it's a film and you took and then they're like, oh, the cops want this, let me throw it in the fireplace. That's destroying evidence. This, but you erasing it from your phone just makes them jump through a hoop or two more to get it, right? Because even though it's off your device, it's still in the cell tower that bounced it to you. It's still in the sender's phone or whoever, right? And there's a copy in the database that whoever the carrier is, and there's also a copy because some people copy everything ever put on the internet, right? Nothing's ever deleted. Uh, so yeah, I mean, private companies who know how to do that will have it. So once you generate it and hit send, like easily 6 people have it immediately, right? But don't worry about it. What your information is like a thumbful of water in like the Pacific Ocean, right? But they'd have to know you personally to dig you up, right? And then that's how they look up all your shit. So if you're a baker or a butcher or whatever, and nothing ever, happens, no one's ever gonna really need to run across your stuff. But if all of a sudden you one of these shooter people, then they want to know all about your socials. If you run for office, they want to know all about your socials, right? And once you become notable, they want to know all your information. And you can't going back like the woman who they wanted to be an office of budget and management, who's just a miserable woman, and they voted her down, and then Biden stuck her in there anyway, right? As an appointment, not an appointment. You had to need Congress, but sort of as a presidential advisor type thing. Um, yeah, what's her name? It wasn't Tyranny. It was yeah, she was horrible. She was Indian. You know who I'm talking about. More is no. Anyway, So that's that. During their opening statement, prosecutors cited online posts Robinson allegedly wrote a month before the attack where he called for an open armed rebellion. See? They arrest you, they look at what you wrote the last 2 years ahead of the day they arrested you. Then they get a picture of what your mind state is. So when they come for me, it's going to be like he's, you know, Bismouth, Boy Scout, no power, so what? No power, no following. We know all about him. Then they're gonna all the stuff that I don't tell you. They're gonna know about. They're gonna look into stuff that, uh, you know, this is what he searches for. This is how much he spends. This is where he goes to eat. These are the people that he calls. They'll know all that shit. All the stuff I don't tell you. Then they'll put up a probably a what is it? An idea of the person when they put together. Oh my god, when you a profile of you. They put together a profile of you, and since they've been doing this forever, you should ask, "Ooh, can I see the profile of me?" Because it's probably enlightening to you. And people like this always do that. And people like this either like this, that, or the other thing. Versus you don't know what you like, or you think you like 30 things. But like I think the government, if they just let once you got notable, if they just let you read what they think about your personality, it might fix you. I'm sure Will Smith is notable, right? So I'm sure there's a jacket on him in Washington because he's been around presidents and stuff like this, right? They want to make sure he's not crazy and he's not like some drug addict maniac um, in Hollywood who will then 6 months after he meets the president and the president goes, "You're a fine young man," right? Done killed some girl. And now they're going to be like, "Mr. President, you say he was a fine young man." So, like I always say, these people walk through giant security to meet the president, right? The Secret Service knows exactly the kind of person you are when you show up there, right? And they took money from Weinstein. They knew what he was up to. Like they took money from that poor unfortunate soul who died in a cell, who was innocent, by the way. No trial, no pronouncement of conviction means he was just a victim of circumstance and totally innocent. And that's it's what that British prince should have said. But here's the thing: he was convicted, right? We were raging about how he was convicted and was doing home study. Is that what they call it? Not home free. What do you call that? He was at a half. He wasn't even at a halfway house. He was at his mansion. Not work release. I was gonna say work release. I don't even know what it's called. Um, he was off on yeah. Yeah, he's stupid. He had a sweetheart deal. The least he could have done was honor it. And then like when it came out, he's like, "Your Honor, I honored it, and I was a good man, and I didn't do jack." And so he was like, "I don't even want to do the sweetheart deal that I got." And the guy who gave him the sweetheart deal is still a Democratic operative. Mm. Mm. T. All right, it's 7:20. Are we even gonna finish reading this? Because he hit cops. He was a cop. He was drunk on power. He went down there. He emailed about it. The cops have his whole jacket now. The defendant made good on the promise. Oh wow, that's premeditation. Made good on the promise. Assistant U.S. Attorney Elizabeth Alloy told the jury, saying that Robinson used a large stick to impede officers who were called in as backup during the riot. Robinson, a former police officer, they fired him, officer for Rocky Mountain Police Department in Rocky Mountain, Virginia, was off duty when along with a few fellow officers, Jacob Fracker, Robinson's neighbor, and Robinson. So yeah, he went with another cop and his neighbor, went to the Capitol that day. Fracker pleaded guilty in March to one count of conspiracy after striking a plea deal with the government, agreeing to cooperate in the case against Robertson. He faces up to 5 years in jail for his actions of that day and is set to testify in the trial. Wait. So this is how your plea deals work. So he made a plea deal, and they're like, "All right, we're going to withhold your sentencing until you make good on the this trial with this other guy that we want to throw in jail for 5 years. And if we're not happy with it, you too will get the 5 years. We will withdraw the. That smells like the carpet is burning. We will withdraw the plea deal. It's not. Um, and that's what a plea deal is. So his incentive is not to go to jail, which I think is just. Uh, Nira Tanden from was she from Mass? Wow, that girl is a masshole. Yeah, Nira Tanden. Yeah, absolutely right. So Nira Tanden was essentially a political hit job person, would show up on the Sunday morning shows and say just the most mean tweet, right? The most mean spirited sort of, excuse my language, but go fuck yourself kind of message to you. And then all of a sudden, she needs to get confirmed by all the people. She had nothing but mean stuff to say. And her hearing was like, she, first of all, she started by deleting all this stuff. And then before the hearing, going around and apologizing to all these people. That's a bad start. You have to go and make 50 apologies. Uh, and then the hearing was her just getting to listen to lectures about what a sucky person she was and her apologizing for being a sucky person. And I was sitting here going, see, this is why, look, this is why you don't want to be an asshole in the world, right? Because the energy is ebb and flow. It really is. Some people like you, some people don't. When they don't like you, you don't want them to viscerally hate you. You want to at least be like, he was generally most of the time, and I don't like him. He was that ugly shirt, and he talks that dumb shit, blah. But that's innocuous. I don't like him. Versus, that dude is fucking disgusting. I hate him. And you know what? And then you just start launching the reasons why they hate you. That's where she is, right? That's where she is. Yeah, but that's not a reason to be an asshole. She grew up in public housing. A lot of people grow up in public housing, right? That's not a reason to be an asshole. Um, and she was nice enough to the right people, so she knows, right? This is about discipline. Um, it's about message discipline. It's about also just this social discipline, your social currency. She had no social currency. It's like Obama. Obama has a lot of social currency for himself. It doesn't translate, right? Uh, Ronald Reagan had a lot of social currency that translated. He could go. He could come to your rally and go, "Hey, you need to vote for this guy, and you would win." Right? Trump is sort of an iffy proposition. Uh, I want to go check on it, but I just checked on it. And the wind is not that hard. You know what I think it is? I think it was wrapped in twine. It's got to be the twine. It's getting low, and it's got to be twine. Uh, so yeah, I mean, going to public. I mean, coming being from public housing is no reason to just be sort of mean, right? Uh, and plus, it works as as a tactical bonus. Quite frankly, if you and I have to pick who gets on our starship because we got one last seat, and one dude is a dude who helped us hunt and helped us fish and told a few jokes with us, and we liked him, right? And the other dude was just an asshole and a bully to everybody. Who are we picking? This is not hard, man. This is why I don't get people. I like people want you to love, respect, and revere them as they treat you like shit. That whole thing about being a queen bee, I'm like, no one likes their boss. Why are we bigging up being a boss to anybody when no one likes bosses? Yeah, the whole society doesn't make any sense. And the excuses we make for why we do what we do. Look, some people are mean, and I hate to say it, but people work the system. I've seen big dudes who work the system with aggression, and I've seen women work the system with sexuality. Whether it's a smile and a wink and a sly rub against you, or you know an accusation and a finger point, a scurrilous worried about you, and before you know it, you've got to like defend your standing in the group because somebody doesn't like you. It's a thing, man. All right. So what did he do? He could spend up to 5 years if he doesn't testify. Okay. Spend up to 5 years in jail for his actions that day and is set to testify in the trial. Right. So he's going to turn state's evidence and testify, and he could still get 5 years. And he was a police officer here in Virginia. Okay. According to the prosecutors, Robinson left his police badge and firearm in his car near a metro stop on January 6, 2021. So after they arrested him, they went and got his car. Or if they picked him up later, they wanted to know where was your weapon and your gun. Because mind you, Washington D.C. is essentially here in Virginia, right? It's a carve out of Virginia and Maryland. Um, so it's he probably and they that's the thing. Driving into that district with a gun on you and you're not licensed to have it is more of the problems for you. If you're law enforcement and you run into trouble, it's problems for you. Yeah, here's the thing, but that's the next story we're gonna talk about. Those two guys are fucking stupid. These two brothers who shot up the joint. 6 people. You killed 6 people. For what? Because you probably were feeling nice with a couple of drinks in you, right? And you just gangster life, gangster life. It's always gonna be somebody. The whole point here is you leave it behind you, right? You don't look, man. I was a young wild man myself. You don't do anything that permanently ends your ability to go forward, right? So you don't do something that stops you at 27 and puts you in jail for 30 years. That hinders your ability to go forward, right? So in my young man days, I did graffiti. It was against the law, absolutely, but it was art based. It was creative, right? Yeah, I should have did it. Yeah, it was not good for the community, but that was as far as I went with my criminality. Whereas other people, mind you, this is the crack 80s. Other people are carrying guns and moving weight and shooting at people and being ridiculous. Um, the most I would have gotten was a summons and a violation. And a lot of those guys got 30 years. So it's like drugs. Look, do a drug that you can, like, give or take. Weed is that, if you want to call that a drug. I don't even think it's a drug. But weed is that. But you do a one and done like heroin or, you know what I mean? Um, Anything that will get you addicted is, I think, is ridiculous. And I think everything will get you addicted, but weed and mushrooms, the things that grow in your yard. Uh, I don't know. It's it's weird, man. Okay, so he has to testify in trial. Excuse me. According to prosecutors, Robinson left his police badge and firearm in his car near a metro stop on January 6, 2021, and instead brought gas masks and a stick. Prosecutors say they will show police body cam footage of Robertson using the stick, allegedly blocking police during the trial. So maybe he didn't hit them, but he was holding it up and like pushing them back, like it was a giant baton. Yeah. Oh. In the opening statement, the defense referred to Robertson as TJ, said that the stick was simply a walking stick he used because of a limp he suffered after being shot in the right thigh on deployment in Afghanistan as a private contractor years before. Right? They wanted to say, see, he got shot. He was in Afghanistan, but they had to mention he was a contractor. Because if they left that out, the prosecutor would have been like, he doesn't have military service. He did X, right? He was essentially a mercenary, and he came back home and became a policeman. Um, yeah. So, and if he had a limp, why is he a policeman? He got shot in Afghanistan years before, but he was well enough to become a police officer and to be active and off duty when this happened. But he's walking with a cane off duty because of, yeah. This it doesn't see it doesn't stand up. Olympi suffers after being shot in the right thigh on deployment in Afghanistan at the private contractor years before. According to the defense, the stick was stuck in front of a police officer, quote unquote, was quote stuck in front of a police officer, end quote, who then kicked the stick off of him, adding that Robinson was not trying to hurt the officer. The defense said Robinson only went into Capitol to retrieve his supposed friend Fracker, quote unquote supposed friend, because Fracker testified against you. So first of all, going into some place to retrieve somebody is like my friend's in that mall. I'm gonna go get him. You know how many people are in any given mall? He could be anywhere. You act like you know exactly where he's going. It's the U.S. Capitol. You've never been there before, right? How do you know exactly where your friend is in this? During an incursion where all these other people showed up. I love these excuses. These excuses are easily ridiculous. He went to retrieve his supposed friend Fracker, who they say had run in ahead of him. TJ knew he was supposed to be there. TJ knew he was not supposed to be there. Ooh, that's an admission by your defense attorney. TJ knew he was not supposed to be there. Defense attorney Camille Wagner told the jury. Wagner also said that Robinson should not be judged by what he wrote online because social media is not reality, and that is true. Social media is not reality, and repeated that walking stick was just for that, for walking. That well, the walking stick thing is a lie, and social media is not reality. It isn't. People they fake those Instagram photos, and people fake relationships they don't have, and they're miserable at home, right? Um, yeah, social media isn't reality. So if I'm sitting here going, telling you about my great life and private jets and all this stuff, but I'm humbled, I don't want to show it to you. I mean, it could be true, it could be a lie, right? Mm, that's some good tea. I think it's a little too sweet. Ah, all right. After being initially released following his arrest in January 2021, Robinson was rearrested and held in detention after he allegedly began stockpiling weapons and posting about future political violence online on an online message board. So they arrested him. He was out, and then he's starting collecting guns. Investigators say they learned that he had bought 37 guns on the internet following his initial arrest and found bomb making material in his home, all in violation of conditions of release. Obviously, violation of condition of release. Prosecutors say bomb making equipment. I mean, what kind of bomb making equipment? Because I mean, for all I know, I have bomb making equipment in this house. I don't even know what that is, right? If someone's with bomb making know-how coming to go, oh, he's got that, and you can take that apart, and he's got that over there, and you can take that apart and add it to this. And if he melts down the honey in his refrigerator, mixes it with the melted down syrup to make sugary cubes of death, I'd be like, I didn't know that. So, I mean, when they say that, I want to know what they mean by bomb making materials. I mean, did he have a propane canister? You know what I mean? Is that it? Or do you have a workbench with like cock, like strapped, you know what I mean? Like those wristwatches, little faces on, because I mean, I'm not saying that it's just hard to buy what the media says when they give you something like that. He had bomb making equipment at his house. And I'm not dying on this hill, right? I'm against bad cops, and he sounds like a bad cop. Investigators say, investigators say they had learned he had bought 37 guns on the internet following his initial arrest and found bomb making materials in his home, all in violation of the conditions of his release, prosecutors say jury selection. Jury selection. On Monday, Judge Christopher Cooper, along with defense and prosecution, sifted through a potential pool of 75 jurors. Wow. Asked them questions about January 6th, where they were that day, and how they felt about the attack. I was driving home on January 6th, one potential juror said during an individual interview. So I saw some of what was happening. Mostly, I was just outraged that people would come here and riot. Yeah, he didn't get picked. I was just outraged that people would come here and riot. Yeah, thank you. So you're dismissed. Um, whenever January 6th comes up, I find myself quite worked up. Another juror told up. Thank you. You're dismissed too. Another juror told the court. People obviously have very strong views on January 6th, Cooper said Monday, adding that that alone was not basis for a juror not to serve on the trial. We are here to assess the innocence or guilt of one person. Other jurors said they worked at or near the Capitol. One person, a legislative director for a congresswoman, wow, told the court she knew people who were working at the Capitol that day. A number of my colleagues have sought counseling. In quote, a number of my colleagues have sought counseling. End quote. In wake of January 6th, she said, adding, however, that she believes she could judge the case on its own merits. Mhm. Three jurors were removed from the pool, telling the judge they couldn't look at Robinson's case objectively. I really feel bad about what happened at the Capitol, one man said, adding that he believed anyone who went into the building that day was in the wrong. It wouldn't be fair for him. I Here's the thing. If you take somebody who says, uh, "Oh, I can't be fair," you have to like if you say I can't be fair, you're instantly off the jury. But what happens is you're off that jury. They just throw you back in the pool, and you can go on another jury. It's best just to get on the trial that that first trial. I don't know why people don't like doing jury duty. Most of them are not that intense to begin with. Um, TV on in the other room. But yeah, he's leaving his gun. He's whacking it out with the cops. And the other guy was like, See, here's the thing. If the other guy does this and gets a federal slap on the wrist, he can likely keep his gig as a policeman. But if I remember correctly, when this happened, a lot of people were being fired just because their bosses and their friends were like, the fucking outrage are you, right? So, and it wasn't just plumbers, like that guy with the plumber jacket. It was cops. They thought he was betrayed. You can't work with us, right? Um, and rightfully so. I mean, I think it's ridiculous. I don't think it's a coup, right? I've said that before. But yeah, I mean, this is that. I mean, watching that, I was like, are you out of your mind? What are you doing? This is what I mean about always having a clear head on you, right? If I'm out and people are like, fuck the police, da, 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 or whatever, at a riot, and people start throwing rocks, I'm leaving. I'm not picking up a rock and throwing it, right? Because I know where this is going and I'm getting out. Versus people going, oh, yeah, and they want to romanticize the idea of this violence. But once the violence spills over, man, it gets on everybody. Um, yeah, let's read about these two brothers. Ouch. Ouch. I hit my knee on the table. Thank you. That was a little better. Ooh, that hoit. All right. Skilled six people. You're both idiots. Okay, let's try this one. Police have arrested second suspect in Sacramento mass shooting that left six dead. Sweet friggin' Jesus. Steve Almasi, Dakin Andone, and Stella Chan. Police have, excuse me. Ugh, come on, give me a break. Police have arrested a second suspect in connection to a mass shooting in downtown Sacramento, California this weekend that left 6 people dead and a chaotic crime scene littered with more than 100 shell casings. His name is Smiley. Smiley Martin. Come on, man. Ugh. Smiley Martin, 27, was taken into police custody Tuesday. Was found at the scene of the shooting early Sunday with serious injuries from gunfire, serious injuries, and taken to a local hospital. The Sacramento Police Department said in a news release, police quickly identified him as a person of interest and kept him under police supervision at the hospital, the release said. Why did they suspect him? Because he was black? Why do you think he was a victim? Because he was shot. Tell me why you suspected him. Just because you say police identify him as a person of interest doesn't mean shit. Why? Why? Just take your word for it. Why? According to the police, Smiley is the brother of Dandre Martin, another suspect arrested Monday connected with the shooting, which also left 12 people wounded and one, wow, 12 people. That's 20 people. 12 people wounded and one uh, of more than 120 mass shootings in the United States this year, and one of at least 10 shootings incidental of the weekend. Here's the problem. I'm shot, and you're calling me the shooter? Why is it not self defense? I am shot. I did not shoot myself. See what I'm saying? Why is this not self defense? The claim seems ground ball easy. Why is not? Why is no one even? Yeah, all right. Once Smiley's medical care is complete, he'll be booked at the Sacramento County Main Jail on charges of possession of a firearm by a prohibited person, which means possession of a firearm by a felon, essentially a prohibited person, and possession of a machine gun, right, as well as the charge of possession of the gun. Yeah, it says didn't they have machine guns? Possession of a machine gun. Yeah, but he was shot though. So this implies I was lucky to. I mean, me firing back saved my life. But here's your problem: you and your brother are shot. Is any of these dead people? Did any of them have a gun? Right? Or did you shoot 6 innocent people and the people shooting at you got away? Because you're obviously shot. Or did you shoot each other? Look at all the freaking shell casings. Good lord. Uh, DeAndre Martin, 26, was identified as a related suspect. Is scheduled to appear Tuesday after being booked on assault and illegal firearm possession uh, charges. According to police, he was being held without bail. Online jail records show Sandy has not been able to reach an attorney. Sacramento County District Attorney Ann Mayer Schubert noted in a statement posted online Monday that DeAndre Martin has not been charged with a homicide, adding she believes authorities will take more people into custody. Yeah, who are they firing at? I mean, in a land of cameras and cameras everywhere, how are you slow rolling this? I would have sent SWAT teams to everybody's house and picked them up within 20 minutes of each other. Oh boy. All right. She believed authorities would take more people into custody. The investigation, and mind you, I mean, you left that scene likely in a car. You know how many cameras you passed as you drove to leave here, and they can go, ah, look at that car. That's a unique car with a distinctive this and a giant canary red ham sandwich on the hood or whatever. And then they could just track you through your unique kind of like something or other, whether it's a dent or a wrapping or right or a missing hubcap. I mean, multiple shooters were involved. Police say. The investigation is highly. It sounds like gang activity. The investigation is highly complex, involving many witnesses, videos of numerous types, and significant physical evidence. Wow, the significant physical evidence is 100 shell casings on the friggin' street. Um, Open image in a new window. Let's take a look at this image. Ooh, oh, these are masks. Okay, there's a lot of shell casings. Oh, all right. Multiple shooters were involved, police say. During an emotional vigil Monday night, members of the Sacramento community and officials expressed frustration with repeated instances of gun violence in the city and called for action to prevent more shootings. What action are you going to do? This starts in the house, quite frankly. I mean, what are you going to do? Pay them not to shoot? You're still going to get shooters. The last time we had a mass shooting, we did the same thing, said one speaker. We did not share his name, but identify himself as a cousin of one of the victims. Oh, okay, we don't share his name, but then the writer, man, the writers quote: the last time we had a mass shooting, we did the same thing. End quote. Said one speaker who did not share his name but identify himself as a cousin of one of the victims. Quote: sat out here, held up our candles, uh, talked about the police are here for us now. The public officials are here for us now. End quote. Quote, how are they here for us when we're sitting doing the same damn thing again? The same thing, end quote. He said, quote, so who's going to stop it? End quote. He ain't wrong. The shooting happened just after 2 a.m. in a bustling part of downtown, just a few blocks from California's state capital, Sacramento Hall and Golden One Center, where the city's NBA team plays home games. So you went down to the hub of your city, sounds like, right? We're near the Capitol, right? At a major arena, NBA players play there. This is the hub of your city. You went down there to have a good time on a Friday night, and these two asshats show up and shoot up the joint. Do you see the story of people adding a small piece of handgun to make it a machine gun? No, I didn't. But yeah, I'm not surprised that. I mean, more is better. This is America, right? I have a muscle car. Is it turbo? Then fuck your muscle car. I have a turbo muscle car. Is it twin engine, the X, Y, or Z? What? No, shut up. Then why am I talking to you? Right? What kind of tires do you have in your muscle car now? Oh, why am I even bothering? And it's just, I mean, we're chasing the Joneses. I wonder who the fuck the Joneses are chasing. Um, a video posted on social media appears to show an altercation before the shooting. Police said that's that whole sucker punching shit. Everybody does it. Um, we are currently working to determine what, if any, relations these events had. Detectives have since found hundreds of items of evidence at the scene. Police said in a news release today, including more than 100 shell cases. The investigators also located a stolen handgun. Police said it was found to have been converted to a weapon capable of automatic fire. Yeah. Police have said that at least three buildings and three cars were hit by bullets. There were a lot of shots fired that night, hence the complexity of the investigation. Catherine Lester told CNN affiliate KCRA. Lester had said there were multiple shooters and that a large fight precluded the gunfire. A stolen handgun was among the hundreds of pieces of evidence found at the scene, she said. Police searched police search warrants Police served search warrants at three homes and at least one handgun was recovered. Sacramento police said in a news release, authorities said they had received more than 100 videos of photos, files on tip portal. Yeah, I mean, they're not doing this out of the kindness of the heart. They're likely getting 50 grand a year to turn you in. Victim is young as 21. The Sacramento County Coroner's Office on Monday identified the six victims who died. John Taya Alexander, 21. Melinda Davis, 57. Sergio Harris, 38. Joshua Hoy Lucchese, 32. Yamila Martinez Andrade, 21. And Devasia Turner, 29. The tragedy has developed the families has I'm sorry. The tragedy has devastated the victims' families, confounded the community, and angered those who are frustrated by yet another mass shooting. My son was a very vivacious young man, Harrison's mother Pamela told. Let's look at Harris. Um, Sergio Harris, 38. My son was a very vivacious young man, Harris's mother Pamela Harris told CNN QOVR. She said her son smiled all the time and never bothered anyone. As for this to happen is crazy, she said. And I'm just to the point right now where uh, I'm to the point right now where brackets. Uh, I'm at the point right now brackets where I don't know what to do. I don't even think this is real. Sacramento second mass shooting in recent weeks. The incident was the second mass shooting in Sacramento in the past 5 weeks. On February 29th, I'm sorry, 28th, a man fatally shot three of his children and another man at a church. The gunman took his own life, authorities said. I remember that, just to show their mother a lesson. Who raised that idiot? Mayor Darrell Steinberg says solutions, not well wishes, are needed to help change the trajectory of gun violence in America. Thoughts and prayers are not enough, he said. It's beyond the time for sane conversation about guns in America. We have a sickness. It's a sickness in our country. It's a sickness in our culture. It's not the guns. Stop blaming the guns. It's the people. You break the people go get guns. Stop acting like doing this is like blaming hammers. No, 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 not blaming hammers. It's like blaming electricity for house fires. No one should use electricity then. We got to rein in electricity. No one should use a gun because people. No, you raise a nothing but violent and fuck society. Stop acting like people won't be madly in love with the violence. We have a lot of it because we have a look. If the natural incidence of violence in a culture was 1%, I think we're pegging at like 20, and that's still not everybody, right? It speaks to the nature of like the what people are. We may be judgmental and talky and blah blah, but we're not generally violent and aggressive at each other. And the people who do get large sway to be violent and aggressive at each other. And then you can be violent and aggressive at children, which we know, and those children don't stay children, they become adults. And then you have violent and aggressive adults who only know one way to get by, and they'll teach it to their kids. And you propagate this thing that you don't want in your society, which is aggression and violence and bullshit. And this is aggressive, violent bullshit. Um, Sacramento will keep investing in programs focused on early intervention and violence prevention for young people, he said. This is what the answer always is. I really do think I could solve the gun violence problem um, with likely a third of the fucking money. Sacramento will keep investing in programs. Yeah, of course it will. In our city, we will take stock and we will do everything we can on the investment side and on the public safety side. I'm sorry. What are you investing in these neighborhoods in Chicago? Um, Not Chicago. California. Uh, what are you investing in? I mean, the Crips and Bloods are from your town, right? You ignored them. They got rich and famous through music, but like they were a problem because you ignored them. Uh, all right, in our city, we take stock and we do everything we can on the investment side, on the public safety side, on the gun side to protect the public, Steinberg said. Governor Gavin Newsom issued a statement saying, scourge of gun violence continues to be a crisis in our country, and we must resolve to bring an end to this carnage. Yeah, that's just standard political bullshit. As President Joe Biden described Sacramento as another community devastated by gun violence, end quote, calling on Congress to act on gun control measures. In a single act in Sacramento, six individuals left dead and at least dozens more injured. Biden said in a statement, "Families forever changed. Survivors left to heal, both visible and invisible." He's just, I mean, it's just, let's say more pretty talky, wordy words. I mean, all these people talk about what people should do. They're in positions of power. Let's see the victims. This is the guy that they arrested. Yep. Oh, this is his brother. No, this is the first guy. Yeah, this is this guy. What is this? Three people. When was this? January 27, 2020. All right. Yep, that's not the one. I hate to say it. Look at these people. Why? Why would you? Because nobody's. What are you looking at? I mean, what? I mean, yeah. At this point, nobody's got time for you. Throw the fucking book at these people. I got no chill for these people. They don't make any sense. I mean, in the olden days, if you were a criminal, you didn't want anybody to know that you were a criminal. Now they're just showy and flashy, like no, they didn't get enough hugs as children. Yeah, just don't throw them all in jail. 30 arrests made after the Sacramento shooting that left 6 dead and 12 wounded. They arrested three people 2 hours ago. Who's the third arrest? Yep, Andrew Blakeman, Alicia Victoria Laza, and David K. Lee. Police have arrested three suspects in an investigation of this mass shooting in Sacramento that left 6 dead and dozens more wounded. Detective identified a man who was seen carrying a gun in the immediate aftermath of the shooting. Before they left, recovered a handgun and arrested David Davion Davione, like Yvonne Davion Dawson, 31 second. Yeah, he was taken into custody late Monday and booked on suspicion of being a prohibited person in possession of a firearm. All these fucking felons have guns. Yeah, just I mean, why don't you just do that? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. They're felons breaking the law. Why do you have to wait for a mass shooting? Based on the type of firearm recovered, detectives do not believe that this gun was used in the shooting. So he had a totally different gun. It was likely a revolver because they're saying, yeah, these aren't the same rounds, but he did have a gun, right? So it's like either the ammunition or the gun type that they're like, yeah, he shouldn't have had it, but he's not one of the shooters. And he was obviously hanging out with his boys who were shooters who had guns, right? He just didn't get to use his. Based on the type of firearm recovered, detectives do not believe that this gun was used in the shooting. Detectives are continuing to investigate this crime and identify additional suspects. Police on Tuesday morning also arrested Smiley Martin, 27, who had been wounded during the mayhem of Sunday morning. He's the brother of Dondre Martin, the first suspect taken into custody. Authorities in California capital cities said he remained on guard at the hospital. Smiley had been located at the scene with serious injuries from gunfire and taken to the hospital where he was quickly identified as a person of interest. Once Smiley is well enough to leave the hospital, he'll be booked into jail. Prosecutors last year fought to keep Smiley Martin in prison, calling him a danger to the community. Sacramento County Deputy District Attorney Daniel Abelgard wrote in a letter obtained Tuesday by NBC News. Inmate Martin has committed several felony violations and clearly has little regard for human life and the law. Abelgard wrote in a Want to finish this off? He was released in summer 2020 after spending 3 years in prison and nowhere close to 10 years sentence for domestic violence. Yeah, you had to let some of these people out for because of COVID, right? Ah, boy, it's so ridiculous. Oh, look at this. We got 10 seconds. Ah, our time together. So precious. So fleeting. Um, Um, do you see the sort of people adding a small piece of hangers making a machine gun? Yeah, I know that you could do that, but I didn't. Excuse me, good lord, I didn't hear the. While we do this, let this run for as long as it goes. I'm exhausted. Uh, I didn't see much about the gun because I was like, I've heard this story before, right? What's the difference between this nightclub shooting and any countless nightclub shootings where it wasn't a religious philosophy or some weird thing about being gay or not, like the Pulse nightclub shooting? Just some fucked up whack job nonsense ridiculousness. You can't fight a guy one on one and win or lose and walk it off. You and your whole team have to get into a shoot like this is the movies, and now you're all gonna go to jail for 30 years. But this is what you've been leading up to, right? This was your fantasy. That's why you had the gun. You knew it was gonna happen. I ain't taking no shit from nobody, son. I blow everybody's fucking head off. Fuck that, son. I push your wig back. Okay, so now you got to do that in the scene, and congratulations. Now do your fucking 40 years in prison per life that you took. It doesn't make any sense. Why? Look, the system is rigged against you. Why are you playing this game? What, you think you're going to get a fair trial or understanding that you had a hard come up? Man, right in a box. You're an idiot. I mean, two of these people were 21 years old. I mean, 21. Ugh, so vile. It's so disgusting. All right, do we have any other stories before I get out of here? I think I'm going to take tomorrow off. Uh, yeah, I think I'm going to take tomorrow off. I actually might take Wednesday off too. Ho, 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 ho. Excuse me. So I guess they fired him, this cop, but he was arrested twice. He was arrested, he was let out, then he was arrested again for buying more guns and shit when he wasn't supposed to have any guns. Yeah. All right, I don't even know. Is streaming just becoming cable again? Yeah, I wouldn't say that you're wrong about that, sister. I'm